Hey YouTube, it's me. It's the man who likes to RANT, dropping a brand new VID for you today. Smell that? It's like bread coming out the oven. That's how fresh this video is. Today, I want to talk about the situation / opportunity that WWE finds itself in. You might as well say your top 3 superstars are on the shelf for various reasons. One isn't on the shelf technically, he's just fulfilling a commitment he started, but we'll get to that in a second. Cena is out for 2 months, filming a fitness show of some kind as I understand it. Rollins is out 6 to 9 months because of how badly he screwed up his leg. I believe it was ACL, MCL, and medial meniscus. Someone can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. And Randy Orton is out once again with a shoulder injury, something that has plagued him for the entirety of his career. Now, WWE is panicking because, oh my God, what are we going to do? We got no stars. You got no stars because you haven't pushed any of your mid-card talent beyond mid-card status. Now you find yourself bent over a tree stump, and the bear that is the audience is just waiting to pound you from behind. But you can avoid it. You can protect yourself. How? There are talent that people have been asking you to push for ages now, and now you don't seem to have much of a choice. I'm going to go over some specific ones in particular that I think would at least intrigue the fan base because it gives them something different than the status quo. Let's get the obvious one out of the way. I say it's obvious and you'll understand why in a minute. Let's talk about Ryback. Giant meathead. Y'all know my problems with him. If you don't, you can go check out my Night of Champions review. That pretty much explains everything. He had the gumption, because I can't think of a better word for it, to go to Vince McMahon and say that he's the guy who should replace John Cena. Now, if he was in the midst of his meteoric push that happened at the start of his career as this character, I might be inclined to agree. And while he has recovered his fan base to a certain extent, the fans are nowhere near as ravenous for Mr. Ryback as they once were. So, I believe the boat for his World Heavyweight Championship opportunity has kind of sailed. Not to say that you can't work him in, but you would really have to stretch the angle to make me believe it. So, I mean, he's a meathead. Has he shown any real athletic ability? Sure, he's strong as crap. I'll give him that. He might be pound for pound among the strongest guys that are currently on your roster. So there's potential, but you gotta work for it a little bit with this guy. Next, Dolph Ziggler. It's interesting that his name comes up because it was just last year at Survivor Series when it was 3 of the Authority's cronies against Ziggler alone in a Survivor Series elimination match, and you booked him to be the hero of the day. Now, granted, he had help from the Vigilante Sting, but he was made to look strong. I thought that was the beginning of something big for Mr. Ziggler, but no, it's just back to the guy being crazy bumps and who loses almost every week. We call that a glorified jobber where I come from. That's all Ziggler's ever been for you guys. Oh, he'll do crazy work. He'll give his body for the fans. But but no, he's not worth our time. We tout that he's been a 2-time world champion. You would think that you might want to put him back in that conversation since he's done it once or twice. I could go on about that all day. I just lost my train of thought for a second. But, Ziggler could do with a good pushing in more than just a comedy role because he does have athletic talent. We've seen it at the start of his career when all he could do was remind us of his name. I'm Dolph Ziggler. We heard that, 10, 15 times a show, it seemed like? But he's more than just a name. He is an athlete. Hell, the man overcame being a member of the Spirit Squad, for God's sake. So there's another guy you could push. Gotta talk about Cesaro. He had an impressive round. He showed he was ambidextrous in the first round of the tournament. Those uppercuts, man, which I'll give JBL credit for calling the Uppercut Express. I think that's a great name for the move, going back and forth, corner to corner, just punching people to no end. This guy deserves a deep run in the World Title Tournament. I don't think he should be given the title, and here comes the hate from all the Cesaro section out there. Guys, he's not quite ready yet. As good as he is on the mic, he needs to be given an opportunity to polish his mic skills. Once he does that, we can talk about giving him the big strap, because the rest of the body of the work is there. I love me some Cesaro. I have from the time he showed up in WWE itself. Heck, I loved him in his time in Ring of Honor under the name Claudio Castagnoli. The man can be something if WWE will let him. And since we have this giant influx of talent that's missing, if not now, when? Now we come, I saved these last two, and I'm going to talk about them together because I see this is also going to be kind of my prediction for how the tournament is going to shake out at Survivor Series. Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns. Ambrose is a natural fit for a top babyface of the company. I dare say his personality, at least mic-wise, could be very akin to CM Punk. Yeah, I know he's different, he's a little off-kilter, but given the chance to connect to the fans, I believe he's the closest guy you have that could emulate a CM Punk snarky kind of personality. And Roman Reigns. Oh, WWE, the opportunities you've squandered with this man. First of all, honestly, if you wanted him to have a legitimate World Heavyweight title push as a babyface, you should have done it when Roman Reigns set the record for eliminations in a single Royal Rumble. They were chanting the man's name. He was the alpha ass kicker. And he was the guy that people wanted to see overthrow the big bad beast. But you didn't do that, did you? You went another direction. Granted, you went with the right direction because Daniel Bryan ended up winning that year. And that's what everybody wanted too. But, I'm just saying, that was the time you should have considered it. Now for this tournament, I see something special here. I see an opportunity. I think the final match of your tournament should be Dean Ambrose versus Roman Reigns. And I'm going to throw in the caveat. I'm going to ask that we see something similar to what happened in the 1998 Survivor Series, Deadly Game. In that you have, it's going to be slightly different, mind you, because one was coming in as the corporate champion in Mick Foley, and one of The Rock was the fiery babyface. This time they're both technically babyfaces, but if you turn Roman Reigns heel on his brother, Dean Ambrose, you've got some compelling stories for the next few months. I believe that could be a good long-term rivalry. Because not only do we have to find out, why, Roman, why did you do this, and why did you turn on your brother? You also have a very similar Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins rivalry. The Brothers of the Shield go at it again, and let's be honest, Roman can be a heel beast. And since they're booing him almost everywhere he goes, it seems like a natural fit. I guess while I'm talking about talent that could be pushed, I could also mention the fact that it seems like Vince has been asking creative and anyone who has a stake in the company to find him the next great Latin superstar. And it seems like the company is pinning its hopes on Alberto Del Rio. Now, let me be clear for what I'm about to say. Alberto Del Rio is a fine wrestler. He goes in, he has good, solid fundamentals. He will not botch like Sin Cara does. And you don't have to worry about him killing your talent. That having been said, since most likely any Latin superstar you try to bring up to the superstar level is instantly going to be compared to Rey Mysterio and how he connected with the fans and the merchandise he moved year after year after year for you guys. So Del Rio is not that fit because let's face it, look at my pinky right here. Zoom in on the pinky in particular. See that nail? That nail right there? That pinky nail has more personality than Alberto Del Rio has in his whole body. I have had college professors who can talk to me and be more entertaining than Alberto Del Rio is on the mic. And some of you may say, oh, that's just because he's a heel. He's supposed to be dry. Was he really any better when you turned him babyface? The answer you're looking for is no. Now, if you want a Latin superstar that is literally taken straight out of the mold of Rey Mysterio, I suggest you strongly take a look at Kalisto. My God, that man's exciting. He moves around the ring. He flies like Rey Mysterio. In fact, he's I won't say he's more athletic than Rey Mysterio. He's more athletic than Rey Mysterio is now, but Rey Mysterio's knees are about as effective as mine. So, he's as athletic as Rey Mysterio was in his prime. He's bilingual, which means he can connect to multiple markets. He is likable. He has the charisma. He hasn't had a chance to show it because he's in a tag team where he has to cover for Mr. Botch himself, Sin Cara. And by the way, just so you know, not that you might not already, this Sin Cara is not the same Sin Cara that showed up with the company when the character was first introduced. This Sin Cara is played by Unico, and we already know Unico can wrestle much better than the original Sin Cara, so I don't know why you're having him botch all to heck, and I don't know why you're only having him speak Spanish, because we already know he's bilingual. Either one of those guys, pushed in their current persona and allowed to wrestle properly, could make WWE money. I believe more money than the considerable amount of money you paid to bring back Del Rio. And this Mex America thing, I don't get it. You know, Del Rio looks uncomfortable around Zeb. Zeb looks uncomfortable around Del Rio. It's just a giant botch. Is there a spot for Alberto Del Rio in your company? Yes, absolutely. It is not where you currently booked him. You need to revamp this character. He needs to be given a purpose. Hell, we know he's rich. He could be a modern-day million-dollar man, Ted DiBiase. And I think that would at least get him over better, or at least have a better shot at getting him over than what you currently have him doing now. Anyway, those are the big pieces of talent I wanted to discuss. I want to see them gain something from this tournament. I want to see them gain exposure. I want to see their abilities showcased. And you can give it to me, Vince. You're the man who has the power to do anything in WWE. And Levesque, You should be pushing for this too. Think about it. You want to be Vince McMahon's successor. Then at some point, you have to show that you have the grapefruits that Vince McMahon has, and then that means stepping up to the man and saying, no, Vince, for once you're wrong, and this is what's best for the company. That's what needs to happen. That's what should happen. And that's what I hope will happen. Anyway, that's my rant today. Ranter gets off the soapbox. I'll catch you guys later. If you like what you hear, click that like button. And also, if you want to help expand the community, there's a little button that's called the subscribe button. If you could press that too, that'd be awesome. Ranter, off the soapbox. Catch you later.